That's right. We got an SOS on our hands. It's an emergency. Tune in. Episode 3. Catfish Season 6 Remix. Let's go.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yo! What's up, Catfishers? We've got a juicy piece of fish tonight. It is just, man, it was like that.
It was mind-blowing.
It was a nice little range of emotions. Like, I mean, hell, like I had some comic moments too. Like, I mean, I was laughing out loud, and I probably wasn't supposed to. All right, everybody, it's your man, Chaos Jones, Chaos J on Twitter, Chaos_Oceans31, 31 flavors of waviness coming right at you. And then my lovely partner, the dynamic duo, the other half. Tell them who you are.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Olivia Gabaree. Hit me up on Instagram and Twitter, The Real OG.
All day.
Mm-hmm.
No frauds. I hate that song, though. Okay, so we've got Danny and Rosa, and it's a love SOS, essentially. He hits up Max and Neeve, or Neeve and Max, and he's like, hey, guys, like, you know, I've got this situation. I'm talking to this girl, Rosa. She's great, and she moved down to Florida to be with me, but we still haven't met up. Now, me personally, that was a red flag for me.
Yeah, so at this point, I'm thinking, one, if you had to hit up one page, she wasn't answering. You hit up another page, she wasn't answering. And now you hit up a third page, and all of a sudden she's answering.
Not only that, but it was 2 years.
Right.
It was 2 years later.
And now we're going from 15,000 followers to like 15.
Right. Wait, it was 1,700 to 100 to 15.
Right. That
like
seems...
each page, the followers dropped off.
Right. So that's red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 is this chick moves from Connecticut to Florida supposedly for you, but has no time to meet up with you.
Sounds a little fishy, right? Okay, so they're texting every day. They're going back and forth between, English and Spanish, and we're going to have a life together and kids and just picket fence dogs, the whole 9, minivans. Like, you name it, they're talking about it. They're like, it's supposed to be real serious, real intense. And they're not meeting up. So we already know that it's that's typical catfish.
That's a catfish formula.
Like, that's
right
the catfish ingredient right there. That's the recipe. Like, we already know that's the recipe. Obviously, he's like, oh, I love their personality. This is the one thing that was a little different was, apparently she came with a lot of haters, and she was, she's about that life. Like, she's getting arrested.
Throwing bows.
She's getting in fights. I want to say he said something about her getting in a fight shortly after she got to Florida, apparently.
And she was arrested for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the whole time, like, this dude on the other, he's trying to calm her down. He's trying to, he's like, no, like, he's trying to give her the BOD, the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, I can help you change. You just need to chill out. You need to, find better ways to deal with your anger, whatever.
He helped her find Jesus.
Low key, he did.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, hey, look to your left. Yeah, that's Jesus over there.
And that's pretty loyal of him to do. If he finds out this girl's all type of crazy, he still hasn't met her in person, and he's still willing to help her out and talk her through and give her the BOD. And I'm not sure I would do that, especially after I haven't met her up until this point.
Because not only that, but then, it wasn't even a matter of her just hitting him up at the last minute saying, oh, I'm sorry, we're slammed at work, babe.
Yeah.
But she was also just not even responding. Like, she would just ghost on him and stand him up. Like, yeah, I'll see you there at 5 o'clock at the Pizza Shack.
Nope.
And he's at the Pizza Shack, and it's like 8 o'clock, and there's no Rosa. Like, what's really good?
Mm-hmm.
So, he gets with Max and Neeve. they start to, they're like, okay, we kind of see why you stuck around, because Rosa's kind of hot.
Rosa's pretty fine.
Right, she's pretty fine. But at the same time, that's another one of those ingredients, is when the person you're talking to is like mighty fine, F-Y-N-E, yet you guys don't video chat and you don't meet. Like, I feel like the extra fine ones, there's always a little extra vanity in there.
Oh,
and
she probably, if that was really Rosa, I'm sure she would be FaceTiming with her Lumia on and everything.
Exactly, like you want to be seen, like especially when you're having one of those days when you look good and you know you look good.
But a difference between this formula and the others is he actually had phone conversations with Rosa.
Right, he did, which. Man, I'm not even gonna get into that yet. Okay, so as Max and Neeve are having their competition, either their friendly competition on who's the better investigator.
Who do you think is the better investigator?
Okay, the Twitter results from the poll was 50-50. I feel like it's a tie. Like, I mean, I want to pick a side, but I really can't, because Neeve has his own strengths. Neeve is very thorough when it comes to the research. I feel like Max just knows, like, he's got that instinct, like that gut feeling.
He does.
And he's just like, yeah, no, bullshit, and he calls it. And then ultimately he usually is right. So it's like, yo, pick up the phone because I called it. I stole that from my partner in crime over on the Lethal Weapon After Show, Alexis Torres. So I heard that line.
That was funny. I
had to throw that one in there, right? Like, hey, pick up the phone because I called it. Anyways, okay, so they're doing their research. They're looking on their pages. They're starting to do the cross-referencing of the friends, and they notice Brandy. And Brandy was a previous catfisher from Dallas. And she's not on the popular page, or even the kind of popular page. She's on the page where it's like only 15 people. So what did you think when they came across Brandy and they're like, yo, she's been on the show and she's a catfisher? What came to mind?
I didn't think that it was Brandy. I'm not sure why she was friends with them, but if she's been on Catfish before, this isn't her first rodeo. She knows better than to out herself like that. But I was thinking, okay, it could be a catfisher. Maybe they just watched Catfish and they added her. Maybe they wanted some advice. I don't know.
Okay,
but I knew it wasn't her.
Okay, see, no, I kind of was like, maybe.
Really?
But I didn't see that episode that she was in, so I didn't really know who her target was to kind of gauge like who she finds attractive, because everybody's got their own cup of tea.
Right.
So I thought it could be her. I just thought it was really coincidental that she was on this page, and then her previous victim of catfishing was a dude in Jacksonville, Florida. And they were in Florida. So for me, I kind of was like 1 + 1 = 2, maybe. But Neeve calls her. She's like, yeah, no, I don't even know Rosa. Like, I've never talked to this chick. And again, it's still kind of weird because
she was acting so chill, though, about it. And that was kind of alarming to me.
But at the same time, everybody seems like they're chill on that first call. Like, oh, yeah, no, or, oh, it's just my friend, and, she's shy, so I'm talking for her.
Yeah.
Like, everybody kind of has a little bit of a calm demeanor initially, I feel like. They don't really start freaking out until it's like, hey, well, we know it's not really you, or who you say you are, but we still want to meet up. And it's like, well, I don't know, like, now's not a good time, I'm really busy. Okay, 1, you're not really busy. You probably don't have shit to do. And 2, like, it's never a good time.
Right.
Like,
when is there a good time to let somebody know that you've been a lying ass for like 3 years now?
Exactly. Like,
never a good time.
I've led you on for 8 years. It's not a good time to talk about that right now, though. Get out of here. Okay. Yeah. So Neeve talks to her. She says it's not me. They're like, okay. They're still kind of like, something's a little off. But then they go ahead and they call Rosa. Would you like to let them know what happens when they call Rosa? Because Rosa was kind of...
Well, she had an attitude.
A big attitude.
A huge attitude. And, I mean, that aligns with the personality that he was painting for us, because he said she had some anger issues. She tends to...
was feisty.
Lash out sometimes. And he described her himself as a feisty woman. So when she picked up the phone, she had all types of attitude. I was like, okay, well, at least that's consistent between the two.
True. But then, you know, just the fact that she got, I can't even believe he called y'all. And, so you guys are calling me a liar? And Neve's like, no, nobody's calling you a liar. And I'm just kind of looking like, but you are, though.
Well, because usually the first giveaway is when you're so defensive. It's usually because you have something to hide.
This is true. Fellas, take notes. Don't
Never
get that
defensive.
defensive if you know you've been telling some stories. Because that's your dead giveaway. Although I don't know why, it just seems like the most logical response would be to get so indignant about it. Like, I can't believe you will
You're
ever...
appalled. Me? Lie? What?
How could you think that of me?
I only put you off for like years and years and stood you up, but why would I be lying?
I don't know. Like, I guess it's just the fallacy of human nature that we think that that's the right response to prove our innocence.
Yeah.
And it's not. And I myself am guilty of that. I will put on the whole dramatics Oscar performance and get all mad and knock stuff over, and and then it's just like, okay, just cut it out, Kels.
All right, you're right.
Like, yeah, okay.
I was lying.
Sure, buddy. Okay, so she, she gets all mad, gets up in arms, and then, then she quickly changes her tone. So then what did you think was going to happen after she changed her tone from, I'm mad, I can't believe it, to I'm nervous? Did you think she was going to follow through with meeting them, or what did you think?
I think that she was going to follow through with meeting them, but obviously if she has some problems with her anger, that's just her initial response, is to fight. But then, the flight kicks in, she's nervous, and it's like, okay, like, do I back out or what's up? But, I mean, like all catfishes, this is finally your opportunity to come clean. It's either you go on for years and years, or you just nip it in the butt right then and there.
And if anything, it should feel like a weight's been lifted off your shoulders.
Exactly.
Like that's the first thing I thought. To jump ahead, when they finally, when they talk to Rosa the day after, was and they're like, oh, how you feel? And they're like, oh, I feel really bad. But I'm like, at the same time, you should feel really relieved.
Exactly.
Because that's a big burden to carry every day. Like, every day you're pouring your heart out, and that person does not, they think you're something completely different.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? You're like a 50-year-old, old overweight white dude. And, this person's thinking you're some hot Colombian, chica, just, talking like, hey, papi.
It's a hard reality to face, because then, not just the catfisher, but the person who's getting catfished, you're sitting there and you had this relationship with this person for so long who knows every deep, dark secret, and you talk so intimately, and then come to find out you really don't know the person at all. It's kind of scary. Now, something I kept thinking this entire episode was, it would be nice, and I want to say it's happened at least once or twice, possibly. I might be making that up. I know that there's been a few situations where everybody, the whole recipe was there, but when they finally went to meet up, the catfisher was actually the real person. Like, so everything was really, they were just really socially awkward and just dumb. I know. But at the same time, like, I would like to see a situation where, the victim meets the catfisher, and the catfisher isn't what they thought they were physically. Like, they don't look like who they thought they were. They're completely different, but they still hook up anyway. I mean, because I feel that connection is, because at the end of the day, like, you cannot deny that there is a connection. Right. You've been entertaining this relationship for months, sometimes years on end. And I think I have seen some instances where they do end up together. However, I'm not sure how I would feel if I'm, laying next to someone that I know is capable of that detailed of a lie for such a long period of time.
I mean,
that's a little crazy.
It's a little crazy, but at the same time, give them an A for effort because that's commitment right there.
You see, but I don't know. That's the BLD in you right
there.
That's
the BLD right there because I'm like, at least they're committed.
Oh my God.
They was committed to that lie.
All right. And silver lining.
Cardinal rule of liars, you got to commit to it. There's been a few times where your boys called off work, and I'm like, I remember one time I'll never forget. Side story. I called off work and I said that the reason I was calling off was because my water pipe burst under my sink. So I was sitting in the bathroom with the shower on and the faucet going, and I was and I called my boss like, how do I get the water to stop? And I know how to turn the water off if you have a busted pipe.
Yeah.
But I didn't want him to know I knew that. So he's telling me, and I'm pretending like I'm freaking out. And okay, I got it off. All right, well, I guess I just got to sit here till the maintenance man comes, and I got the day off. Commit to the lie.
That's it.
I'm not applauding committing to that lie, but I'm just saying, if you want to give them the BOD,
it's pretty dedicated.
I mean, they were dedicated for 2-3 years.
Okay, I'll give them that.
But it doesn't make it right. I'm just saying, hey. So on that phone call, we also find out that she's still in Connecticut, which means, hi, you never really left.
Exactly.
Which
so
should have been obvious
flag.
Too, though.
Well, I think it was obvious. Because
but
there was
not to Danny.
There was no signs of her. I would be like, yo, send me a picture or something. Where are you staying?
Right.
Address, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, how was your drive to work? Oh, it's crazy traffic. Oh, okay, cool. Well, take me a picture on your way home. Can I get the car selfie? Can I get the at work selfie?
Like a palm tree?
But like you said last week, take a picture with a spoon. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You really need to do stuff like that. But then again, there was one catfish, and I can't remember this one either, but there was one catfish where the guy's Photoshop game was
on point.
It was bananas because
Lord.
They did that. Hold a piece of paper with this, doing XYZ, and he did it so well that you could see the shadows of him holding something reflecting off the paper he was holding with the
kidding me.
Was
you see, that's technology is so crazy now that it could go
it enables
either
you
way.
to deceive.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, technology's so great, how are you still getting played? And technology's so great, I could play your ass. And not only visually photoshopping, but now there's software that if it listens to your voice, you can make it say whatever you want it to say in the same voice.
That makes sense. I saw an article where this woman took and she made this program where she compiled emails, like dozens of emails between her one friend, text messages, voice messages, and she compiled them all into this program, and then she's made it so that she can text her friend. Her friend's dead. Friend died. But
that's an episode of
the Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same
Lord.
concept. And basically what we're saying is that it's crazy because as fast as technology is advancing, on one hand, you should know, okay, something's up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it also gives people the power to really just go all the way with that. That commitment level was just times 10 because they can go there because they have the technology to enable them to keep that lie rolling. Okay, so we find out they're in Connecticut. They talk to Danny. He's like, yo, let's go, let's roll, get on the plane. We already know how that goes. They get there, they pull up. Neeve walks to the door. Take it from there.
First of all, I was sketched out for Neeve. I'm not sure there's any way that I would have opened the door and walked right in.
Right.
Wasn't that scary? It was very dark and very grungy looking, and he just walks right in. And the door's shut. Obviously, one, for suspense. Two, because we already knew that Rosa was really nervous and scared. We could actually hear her crying
when
Neeve opened the door because she was so nervous. And Neeve worked his magic, made her comfortable, and out comes walking, not Rosa, but Jose.
And this is when I should not have laughed. I could not help myself. And
because it's like you're looking at Rosa, and then you're looking at Jose, and you're
I'm
like,
just like completely polar opposites.
Something ain't
in
right.
addition to the fact that Jose has a penis. So I'm just like, wow. And I often, when I see whether it's Catfish or just other things I'm watching, I'll always try and put myself in that situation and think, how would I have reacted? And granted, I understand there's a lot of emotions involved, but there's sometimes when it's you've reached such a level of frustration and it becomes comical.
well,
and it's like
have you
stress
would have
laughter.
done?
And I would have laughed when he would have walked out. Like I would have started
like,
laughing like, you gotta be effing kidding me.
But you played yourself at that point.
At that
you
point,
had to have known. Like,
but
you played yourself.
Right. And right, exactly. And then but I think initially in that moment I wouldn't necessarily be thinking about that until later on when I'm on that ride back with Nev and Max and they're trying to talk and I'm just being real quiet because I'm feeling some kind of way. Because I'm thinking like, man, I said a lot of stuff.
It's like, I sent this dude my nudes.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right? That's... Oh, goodness gracious. And some people, they're into the phone intimacy thing. So, who's to say that didn't go down?
I'm sure it did.
And then when you start putting the two and two together, like, I think initially there's shock. So you don't really think about those aspects of the relationship. You just think about the fact you've been deceived. Mm-hmm. This isn't who you thought it was. Basically, it's not going to go any further now because it's a dude and you're not into dudes. And it's just, man. No diss to Jose at all. The situation, the fact that it was the complete opposite.
Right.
Like, I was expecting it to be a female, at least, at minimum. Whether she was visually, physically attractive to Danny, probably not. Mm-hmm. But, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But I at least thought it was going to really be like at least a real woman. Exactly. And it wasn't even a woman. It was a man.
Right.
So that because even when Neeve went to the door and they're talking, and she's like, I'm really nervous.
It sounded like a woman.
It sounded like a woman. I kind of like, my heart was like, oh, it's okay, girl, just come out.
Like, we'll accept you however you are. We'll accept you
however you are.
But here's the thing. Granted, Jose gave good reasoning. It wasn't, I'm not going to say it was good. It wasn't the typical reasoning for a catfish. Usually people have something against the person that they're catfishing, or they're just not confident in their physical appearance.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Which was the case with Brandy.
Right. However, his reasoning was not to hurt Danny, but to hurt Natalie, who was the real face behind Rosa.
Who had bullied him when he was in high school.
Exactly. But how is this affecting Natalie in any way at all? In any way. It is not.
Not. Like, Natalie probably doesn't even...
She probably watched this and was like, oh... Do you think they have to contact the people that are actually in the photos?
I know. I want to say I've seen them do it before.
They have done it before.
They've done it before, but I don't know if they do it every time. But I like when they do it.
Me too, because I want to see the reaction.
Right. I want to see the reaction. And there's been times where there's been people like, no, like, you don't know, you don't understand. Like, they just have a really bad laptop and the camera just, it's expensive to fix those things. And they make excuses.
Yeah.
And, and they're like, no, look, here's the real person. And they're like, look, I don't even know who you are.
I know.
Like, this is, and then, granted, my heart breaks for for those situations, but oh my goodness gracious, it was like, I felt bad for Danny because it was a lose-lose. Like, It wasn't even a matter of being able to salvage that. It's a dude. And for Danny, he's not into dudes.
Exactly.
Had he been into dudes and maybe even into some bears, boom.
You see, that's the thing, because it gets so tricky, because he had like an intimate emotional relationship with this person. But then when looks come into play, and it's almost...
And parts.
That... I don't even know what to think of it, because it's like
And
you
how
were
do you
in love
just-
with this person.
How do you detach?
I know. You were
Like, you
in
can't
love with
you
this
can't turn that
person
off.
until you saw what they looked like. And what? Every feeling you had for their personality goes away?
It
Because
doesn't.
No. And
I mean,
granted,
immediately.
there's
I mean,
lot-
when he walked out, I'm sorry. When he walked out, then yeah, I'm sure the last thing you were thinking of is, starting a family and making babies.
No, of course not. But it's such a tricky situation, because you
Right.
did love this person.
Right.
This person still had those conversations with you. Still, you still shared those moments with each other. It's just they have a different face. And they're a pathological liar. But that's
And they
just-
have different parts.
and they have different parts.
That's important. But another problem I had too, though, was like, again, it really wasn't hurting Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
But he said he started the pages. First off, I would love to know what form of social media that was. Granted, Facebook has been around for a cool little minute, but this dude was 26, and he started the pages back in 90, or not in 96, but back when he was in the 9th grade. So you've been holding on to this grudge for like,
Yeah, that's a very
I don't know,
long
like
time.
8 years. And again, like, it would have been better for him to have created fake pages for Natalie that slandered her and made her look bad, as opposed to forging relationships with people under false pretenses, and then ultimately having these relationships that go on for an extended period of time that involve people's feelings of love and relationships and all that kind of stuff.
It just doesn't add up to me. I'm not sure if that was his intention right off the bat, since Danny did reach out to him first, but it was his decision to continue
Not first. Like, I mean, not only first, but I mean, Danny was persistent. Like, he was like,
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
that's
get that.
another thing I had a
with them
problem
puppy
with,
emojis.
because
Like,
he
his
sent the
game was
puppy
strong.
emoji to every account that he saw had her photo on it. First of all, how did you find all these accounts? Because, wait, it's how did you find all these accounts? But then, did Jose make all 3 of these accounts?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So he made it up to 50, thousands and thousands of friends on one of them, and then what? He changed his mind and made another, and then changed his mind and made another.
Or maybe he
weird
just
to
every
me.
time he had to create a new page, it was like right around the time Yahoo got hacked and he couldn't, his
Yeah,
password.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
It
I don't
just
know.
seems so weird.
Right.
Because it was never Natalie. It was always Rosa. And there was 3 different Rosas.
Right.
So obviously he's behind every single fake
Right.
page. Weird. Very weird to me.
But on the flip side of that, while we've got Jose who gets a slap on the hand, we've got to give props to Danny, because Danny was amazing
He
in the
handled
sense
it
that
like a real
he
dude.
handled it so well. He maintained his composure. He was very calm and collected. And then he even offered constructive, positive advice. Like,
That's real.
He gave him the light at the end of the tunnel, like, well, this is what you should do. Don't feel bad about yourself. You need to do this. A lot of people aren't even in that headspace at that moment.
Exactly. I don't know if I would have reacted that way, but I definitely applaud him for doing that, because after hearing the story of this guy who did this because he was bullied, how are you going to go and bully him some more?
Some more,
you
right.
can't. You can't.
Well, you can if you're heartless.
But, can't.
But yeah, you're a piece of,
And you're on TV and all that.
Yeah,
so you
and
can't
but
do that.
I mean, and then we've seen people where they're kind of fake cool about it, like, okay, whatever, and then you see them break down when they later on.
Mm-hmm.
But he seemed real composed the entire time,
He even prayed for him.
Yes,
That's
like that low key kind of like tugged at my heartstrings, because he's like, yeah, like he went ahead and went through with the follow up the next day, and then he volunteered to do a prayer. And you could even see on Neeve and Max's face, like, they were not expecting that. Like, they were kind of low-key caught off guard. Probably a little awkward. We don't know what their religious background is. But, I mean, that was deep.
It was. And you could tell that Jose really appreciated Danny's friendship, because he said, you know, everything that we talked about really did happen to me. All of those experiences and all the things that had me breaking down, they really happened. And Danny was the one who helped them get through all of them, giving him positive advice, helping him pray and find Jesus. So it was actually Jose who was getting into those fights and had anger problems and was abused and all that, and Danny helped him through.
Yeah, big ups to Danny. So, you know, Danny, if you're out there watching,
you're a real dude.
You're the real MVP, bro. Bravo. So a couple weeks go by and we do the follow-up.
Jose's working out.
Jose's working out.
That was so weird how they added those clips in there.
First off, how convenient was it that you're working out in the exact same stuff that you were wearing on day 2's visit?
He's like, yeah, you know, I've been working out more, and then it's like showing him 2 crunches.
And I'm like, okay, now granted, I believe he was working out, but clearly that was B-roll.
Bad production.
That was clearly B-roll. Like, just like, okay, we'll just do a couple shots of you
slide that
working
in there.
out. Yeah, no, guys. Not rolling. We know better. He was not really working out when you guys filmed that. But he's got a job. He's now living with his parents. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, what'd you think?
Relationship.
Right. Like, what'd you think about that?
Good for him, I guess.
Now, wait, real quick, because I did hear when he said that he was in a relationship, but did he clarify
if his
is he
sexual
straight
preference?
Or is he? Yeah.
I was thinking about that as well. I'm not sure. I don't think I heard him use any pronouns, but he did say that he met someone when he was going door to door because his job is in sales, and he made a sale and he made a little bit more than a sale.
Hey, got a boob thing.
Good for him, though.
Yeah, exactly. Good for him. Just a real quick sidebar. I'm not even sure I knew that there were still door-to-door sales. Unless it's a Girl Scout or a legitimate kid with a box of candy, I'm pretty sure I'm not buying anything from you if you walk up on my door.
I know. I wouldn't do that. But maybe, he lived in Connecticut? Maybe it's like a suburban, small town type of thing.
I guess. I don't know. Then we get to follow up with Danny, and Danny's doing good. Mm-hmm. He's back on the dating scene. Ladies, hit that dude up. That is a good dude right there. Like, get you some Danny in your life. I'm just saying.
You know, this was the first episode where I wasn't that like disgusted or appalled. Usually I'm watching, I'm like, are you kidding me? How could you do that? Why did this happen? But I kind of felt sympathetic toward Jose.
Right.
And the way Danny reacted, I couldn't even be mad. If he's not mad, how am I going to be mad? You can't.
He was such a good guy. Mm-hmm. I don't say that often when it comes to Catfish, but he was really such a good guy. And he wasn't bad looking. So I would like to think that, you know, maybe he'll stay away from the online dating and just kind of try and meet chicks in real life. But yeah, he was dating, nothing serious. He even said that he reached out to Jose a few times and would, you know, sending words of encouragement and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like,
that's so
seriously?
Cool. That's
like,
cool.
Are you real, bro? Like, most people, after Catfish is over, they don't talk at all. And granted, he wasn't at that point still in contact with Jose. Mm-hmm. But just the fact that, you know, shortly after, he did it on his own accord. Like, that was big.
Exactly.
That's major.
But I could tell you one thing. He's probably not putting puppy dogs in anybody's DMs for a long time.
Yeah. Those puppy dogs are in the kennel on lockdown.
For good.
First off, I mean, tell me, would that work for you? Like, if a dude hit you up in your DMs with a cute puppy emoji or just an emoji of any kind?
You know, people get extremely clever sometimes, and it will make me laugh, but unless I find you interesting or you have something of substance to say, I probably wouldn't answer.
Just not even reply, huh?
I don't know. I hate to be judgmental, but I would creep a little, see what's going on.
And be like, yeah, no, not really.
I'm not feeling the puppy dog.
Yeah, no puppy dog emojis.
No, but I could tell you one thing. If I had 3 accounts and someone has reached out to me on Instagram and I didn't answer, reached out to me and then reached out to me on Facebook and I didn't answer, and then reached out to me on Twitter, it's like, no. So the one thing Danny should have held back on is if she doesn't answer the first time, she's probably not going to answer the second or the third time, and then you just look crazy. So do yourself a favor and just take the L at the first.
You need to cut it. Stop watching people. That's Twitter watching.
Exactly.
Just, clarify.
No good.
Not at all. Not even. Or IG stalking. Someone actually told me that if you go visit someone's page multiple times that you don't follow, you'll end up becoming a suggestion for them. So
take that into
consideration when you get them suggestions and you're like, I don't even know.
Even for myself, blowing up spots over there.
Right? Like, you just getting suggested in all kinds of people's stuff. Like, why is Olivia keeps...
But now I'm going to take a look at my suggestions, too, and see what's going on there.
Yeah, see who's peeping the game. All right, so that pretty much does it for Danny and Rosa. You have any predictions for next week?
I predict some more lies and some more love.
Maybe some tears.
Although
Danny shed no tears.
Because he's a boss.
He is. Because Jose was letting them loose. It was a great show. And for me, yeah, I mean, I expect a lot more lies. Maybe they'll up the ante on this next episode. But this one was a pretty good one. I don't even necessarily need a happy ending.
No.
I don't need a happy ending.
I like it when it's not happy.
I kind of do too.
It's more juicy.
Yeah, it makes it just a little bit better. So we'll see. Until then, check your boy out, Chaos J, on Twitter, Chaos_Oceans31 on Instagram, and we will see you next week. And where can they find you?
You guys can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter, _O_G. And
all day.
No DMs.
No DMs.
No puppy dogs.
No puppy emojis. Just stop. And if you're going to look at her page more than once, you might as well go ahead and hit that follow button. Talk to you guys later. Thanks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Damn.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.